another episode of the My Five Cents podcast. Let me go ahead and introduce the cast of characters. To my that way, I got HLS.
Habitual Linestepper in the building. What's up, everybody?
What's going on, man? How you
Oh
feeling?
man, I'm good. I can't call it. Ready for another W. Another W. I've been slipping a little bit, but I'm ready to come back. I'm ready to come back.
Ready? Okay, all right.
Ready
Because
to
I was
come
gonna
back.
say it's been a long time. I should have left you, maybe. I don't know. So to my bottom, I have not the logical genius because he's still on his VP stuff, but we got the lovely, the illustrious Miz Chit Chat.
Hey guys, what's going on? What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Miss Chit Chat? Shoot, I think you got more W's than HLS this season.
I was thinking
that's
about
what's
that
happening,
since the
actually.
last time. I was thinking I might have a couple of wins on my belt.
Maybe, allegedly. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Our guest is a TEDx speaker, founder of African Women in STEM, and the leadership and strategy coach. She speaks on culture change, culture inclusion, women's empowerment, and the power of community. In her TEDx talk, How Embracing Cultural Identity is Key to Unlocking Your Success in Your Career, our guest highlights the negative impact of being othered or compelled to assimilate in one's career. She shares her belief that unique identity, cultural or otherwise, can be a source of strength and that embracing it can lead to incredible success in professional lives. As the founder of African Women in STEM, our guest is building a vibrant global network of African women who are recognized, valued, and celebrated for their exceptional contributions to the global community. Please welcome to the show, Adaeze Iloeje. Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya. Oh my goodness. One more time, because I'm editing this joint. Please welcome to the show, Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya. Welcome to the show. Please correct me. Please tell the people what your name is, because I tried my best and it didn't work out. The lights came on, I buckled.
I was having so much fun over here. Okay, well, thank you so much for trying, SoSo. My name is Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya.
There you go. Okay. Well, this is beautiful for the topic that we have at hand today. Because today we are talking about the 5 reasons not to code switch. And let me start you off with this icebreaker.
Before you get there, maybe tell the audience what is code switching.
How about you tell them what code switching is?
Oh, well, how about I tell them? Code switching, in layman's terms, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Adaeze. Code switching is having to kind of hide your identity to appeal to the masses, having to hide your culture, how you talk, how you walk, how you look, just to appeal to the masses. Where when you're home and amongst your common folk, you would be who you are, but inside maybe the workplace or in school or just in society, you might change your demeanor and how you act to appease the masses.
Oh, you're right.
If you were a good podcast host, you would have asked her that question. What's your definition of code switching? That would have been the route to actually go. Oh, you have nothing to say?
I mean, if you're going to introduce a topic, I mean, you have to let the audience know. I mean, we're the host of the show, right?
Because I feel like you're trying to sway the victory already by making your own definition for code switching as if it's the definition of code switching. I don't care about your definition. So let's get back to
it.
To the icebreaker here. What is your superpower and how has it assisted you in your journey?
Oh man. I think my superpower, I would say, is I'll probably say I'm a super connector. To be honest, yeah. So I love meeting people. I love getting to know people. And interesting thing is that when I meet people, the first thing that comes to my mind is, "Ooh, she will be the best person to meet so and so," and I'm already thinking of how to get them together. Because I do believe in the power of collaboration. And if two people are doing something closely related, I just feel like putting them together and letting them, just make it something bigger. So far it has worked out. Nobody has come to me to say, why did you introduce me to so and so? So far so good. So that would be my superpower.
Okay.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So we're on this topic of code switching, and I want to start you off with a story. The story, it begins in Brazil, and two travelers happen to travel to Brazil. I'm gonna name names: SoSo Juv and HLS,
Oh
and
wow.
one decided to speak broken Spanish to Brazilians who speak Portuguese. Now, in this topic of code switching, when it comes to going to other countries, being the arrogant American, is that something that we should probably code switch from, or we should just stick with being the arrogant American?
Okay, I had to laugh about the fact that he spoke Spanish
It wasn't.
Broken
in
Spanish, broken.
Brazil. Broken
It wasn't
Spanish
even
in Brazil.
clear. It wasn't
It
even
Yeah.
wasn't
clear
for
Spanish. It was
arrogance.
broken.
It was. I was ill-informed. I was ill-informed.
Okay, but hey, you booked your ticket to Brazil.
Yes.
You would have
Yes.
at least figured out how to ask for food. So to be honest, like I've heard a lot about arrogant Americans. I haven't. Okay, well, being America, everybody's American, so I can't even say. However, the way I will say the best. Well, that is my opinion. Take it or leave it. But is the way you go somewhere new. First, that I'll just say, just kind of like maybe take some time and just look around and take in your environment and see how people do things, how they express themselves, how they talk. In the case like this, I know so you mentioned something about maybe there's a time to probably code switch. I don't know if this is entirely code switching or it's just trying to relate to them in a way that they understand, right? So you may figure out, there's some basic things that are culturally different, for example, that you may want to do just because you don't want to offend anybody, So that's a bit different. That's not necessarily code switching. It's just maybe just respecting the people in the environment that you're in. So I'll probably say maybe not be the arrogant American, but maybe just take time to observe and then act from that point.
Well, that's great that you say that. I already have a follow up off of that because I feel like there's such a fine line between trying to relate and actually code switching. Or do you feel like there's a hard line between the two?
I feel it depends on the power dynamic. That's when it
Okay,
becomes,
explain.
because if you go somewhere and you make a decision to, for example, in some cultures, they say yes is no, no. Like when you nod, it's a no. When you shake your head, it's a yes. If you understand that and decide to do that, even though for you nodding means yes, when you nod to say no, it's just deference, and you made that choice. But I feel like code switching is something that we do when we don't have a choice, when we don't have the power, because we're trying to please someone or a group of people and just make sure that we are safe and protected. So that would be the difference.
In your line of work, do you think there are any benefits to code switching?
Maybe. Definitely.
That
It's
was
not
actually the
ideal.
alternative topic. That was the alternative topic.
That was the
Please, man.
alternative topic. Again, it's a power dynamic thing, right? So if
Yeah.
you find yourself in an environment where you're the only one or one of a few, and then there's this other part where people have some preconceived notions or certain things about the belief about you that are not true, and understand that you're already operating from a place where you don't have so much power, you may make that decision to code switch because it's your best interest. Some things might not be harmful. Some things might. It becomes a problem when it's like every day you go to work, you're putting on someone entirely different, and then by the time you get home from work, you're totally and completely depleted and exhausted because it's definitely not you. So if it just depends, it just depends. Sometimes you might have to do it because you have to, it becomes something that it's a positive for you in that sense. By that I mean to help you sustain your career, ensure that you move forward. But if you ask yourself the question, if you had no fear of, you know, being left behind, not being promoted or paid more, are you going to do this?
Mm,
If the answer is no, that is not, it's not to your advantage really. It's just a survival thing.
yeah, yeah.
Is there like a generational explanation or definition for code switching? Because when I was preparing for this, I asked my mom. She didn't know what code switching was, right? And then I sent a text to one of my friends who's my same age. She didn't know either, so I had to basically explain to them what it was, just to in order to get a kind of answer. um so do you think there's like a generational definition for code switching?
I don't think so. I mean, and just to your point, like I moved here um, to go to grad school, so I didn't know what code switching was for so many years, right? But the thing is, they may not use the term code switching because that's, you know, if you're now on social media, you see the term and you know, like, oh, so that's what I've been doing all this time. But if you live in a place where you put on an armor to protect yourself, you may not call it code switching, but I don't think it's a generational thing per se. But I think the term code switching might be something that people don't necessarily use all the time. It's more popular now, I'll probably say, especially if you're on social media. Because if you think about it, I wasn't here, you know, several years ago. My parents, I'm from Nigeria, grew up there, but I can imagine that, you know, generations past when they left the house and went to work, they had to be a certain way, you know, to get through the day and then come back. It's still code switching. You may have it called something different.
So that brings up, it's almost a story personal, but I'm not going to do the personal piece. Like the New York Yankees, right? New York Yankees has this rule that if you play for the Yankees, you have to be groomed. Your hair length can't go down like a certain amount. Now, would you consider that to be code switching by having to change your hairstyle for the workplace?
It depends, you know, because I'm thinking about it now. When I went to what you would call middle school and high school, so we call it secondary school, I had to wear my hair short. Everybody was expected to wear their hair short, right? So you cut your hair for the first 3 years, and that's it, and then you start braiding it again. So I don't know why they have all those rules. For example, you go to certain schools, you wear uniform. Like one of the things I had to get used to when I moved to the States was that some people went to school without uniform. Like it wasn't something that you know was common back home. Um, so there's certain things that are like, you know, you think about it, maybe they want students to just focus on school versus every day trying to make a decision about what to wear. For the junior secondary where you cut your hair, because most people went to boarding school, so and they come in at 11, you know, sometimes 10, so they're like, you're too young to start figuring out how to take care of yourself. So those first 3 years, figure things out, and when you're older, you can take care of yourself, then you can now take care of figuring out how to do your hair, because doing your hair is a whole thing. You know. So then there might be reasons for that. So the New York Yankees, I don't know, I mean, maybe somebody came up with the idea that they wanted everybody to look alike for some reason. I don't know. um but when it becomes a problem, because like for example, cutting your hair wearing a uniform, everybody looks the same, so to speak. But if it's like, you know, you have to wear your hair short, straighten it, look at certain, I don't know, all that stuff, it might now start crossing the line between, you know, us trying to have a look, for example, the same reason why people wear t-shirts that have the same logo on it and things like that, versus trying to control um, or exclude certain group of people. So it just depends on what's behind it. And maybe when the New York Yankees started years ago, maybe there wasn't anything wrong with that. Now that we're seeing people are being more vocal about, you know, the plights of, you know, the other people. If you insist on that, you have to have a better reason than just, you know, that's what I said. You know what I mean? So I think it's nuanced. I guess I'll just have to like get all the details to know for sure. But um, knowing what we know now, if you insist on people having a certain type of hair or whatever, especially when somebody already has dreads and tell a person to cut it off and things like that, you have to have a better reason for doing that than just that. I think it's a good idea, you know, for whom
It
and
was
so.
this movie on Hulu, and it was called Bad Hair. They made it like a horror comedy.
Yeah.
And did you see it? Did you see
No,
it?
I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
and that was one of the things. She went into the workplace and she went in with her natural hair, and then there was a group of people that was saying to her, "Girl, you're not going to elevate in the work experience. You're not going to be opening up doors. They're not going to even reference to you because you got this ethnic hair, you know." And she transitioned and she had to get with this other group to transition so that she can have a simulated hair. I'm saying with my air quotes here, a simulated hair. And when they did put the hair in her, they weaved the hair in her head, it took over her and made her different. The hair took on, it was like it said spirit type thing, but it was a horror picture. So it was saying it was making her talk a certain way, be a certain way. She was changing and she had to experience it. And it was funny. It was funny. It was like a horror comedy where they were really teetering the line on us leaving our culture behind to code switch in some manner. And we do it for work, or we do it to have better finances or be amongst the cool people, or a population where we think that that's where we're supposed to be in order to elevate our life.
Oh yeah, definitely. That there's something wrong with that. And interesting thing is that it's in every culture. Let's just put it that way. It's more pronounced where you have to say black and white, brown and white or whatever. But you also find in other cultures where being light skinned is a thing, and people go bleach themselves because if you're light skinned, you get better opportunities, for example, or having long hair, or having a pointed nose, different things like that. Um, we know better, so we should do better. There's some things that are not harmful, but this is exactly what I talked about in my TED talk. Because basically, when I moved here, one of the things I had to deal with was my hair, of all things. Like if you're Nigerian, if you're from Africa, you change your hairstyle twice a day, and you don't care who knows that you had short hair in the morning and then, 2 hours later, your hair is like sweeping the floor. It's not a thing. You braid whatever style you want every weekend. You look a certain way. It's not a big deal. Nobody talks about your hair besides saying, oh my goodness, you look beautiful. That's it. That's one that I had to deal with when I came here, and now I have to start figuring out how not to change my hairstyle so I don't get the questions at all. And it was just, for me, it was just ridiculous and constricting. So yeah, that definitely, if somebody, again, back to the power dynamics. If you're doing it because you want to survive, that's the only way to survive, to be accepted, to progress in your career, that's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
All right, we are about to transition into the next phase of our program. And this is the piece where we go into our 5 cents on the topic for today, which is the 5 reasons not to code switch. And what's going to happen is each of us is going to drop our list to you, and you are going to have the excellent, because you have built up your credibility with us, the choice to choose who is our third place loser and who is our first place winner. We do not care about second place. Why do we not care about second place, HLS?
It's the first loser.
First loser. We don't care about the first loser at all. So, HLS, can you please explain to our judge what is our criteria for judging?
So you're a worldly woman, smart, educated. For this show, there is no criteria.
None.
Okay.
You might like the fact that I had a crush on a girl who had your name in high school, and that's why you choose me, because you feel sorry for me because you friend zoning me. That's why you might choose me as number one.
Okay. You might choose me because I attempted to say your last name. Okay. That just making the attempt might be good enough to choose me.
And you might choose me because I wore my African head wrap today. And I was already in tune that you were going to be on here, sister. I didn't even know. I just see it just came right on.
It is
Whatever you
completely up to you.
decide, completely up to you. But the hardest part right now, you get to decide who do you want to hear from first.
I think I want to hear from SoSo first.
Okay.
In the building. All right. So here we go. We're going into number 5. These are the 5 reasons not to code switch. And
I'm
at
laughing
number
already because I know it's going to be some shenanigans, some foolishness.
I'm gonna try to balance it out between foolishness and what's real. So let's start with at number 5, self-confidence, right? Your self-confidence just isn't the same if you aren't the same, right? So code switching and trying to pretend to be something that you're not, it will definitely erode your self-confidence. At number 4, I'll say diversity is needed in the workplace. Here's a statistic for you: 76.5% of the US workforce is made up of white people. I'm wondering what the heck happened to everybody else. So we need some diversity in the workforce. That's absolutely for sure. At number 3, I have inauthentic relationships. And where I'm talking about this is really in dating, with men especially, right? When they get on the phone, they got to talk all sweet to their bae. No, show them who you really are. Talk how you really talk with these ladies. You don't have to be like, hey, baby, baby, baby. And then, switch it up and all that. Nah, don't switch it up because you're wasting time over here changing your voice, trying to impress a woman when you could really give them the real thing. So inauthentic relationships. At number 2, I have everything is funnier with an accent. I'm sorry. I come from Haitian descent, and I'm sorry. Stories told by Haitian people are like the most funniest things ever. The reason why is we like had our own ad libs. All of a sudden we have hey, oh, So all of that right there, I feel like everything is funnier with an accent. So rock the accent. And number 1, they say fake it till you make it, but authenticity, being your true you, wearing your braids, talk how you talk. It leads to relatability, and that's why you should not code switch. So that is my 5 cents on the 5 reasons not to code switch. Adaeze, who do you want to hear from next?
I'll say Miz Chit Chat.
Yes, thank you. After you heard all of that other stuff, I know you're
What?
gonna like to hear what
Brilliance.
I'm going
Brilliance,
to
baby.
say right
Brilliance.
now. Okay. Number 5, the reason not to code switch is definitely for not code switching if it's like racial injustice. I don't like that. You can't code switch if it's something racially unjust. Not code switching because you want to deny your culture. I don't think you should do that to deny any part of your culture. To make someone else feel like comfortable. Um, that was 4. 3, not code switching to get a raise or a promotion. To me, I feel that's like a borderline blackmail. So if you code switch so that you can get higher in your job or higher in your stuff, that's kind of like they could blackmail you, because when you start acting like yourself, that's not what we hired you for. That's not why we promoted you, type thing. 2, not code switching in front of your family or your children. You can't do that. They'll be able to know that that's not a part of you. That's not you. And then number 1, not code switching because you're gonna be fake. You're gonna be inauthentic. Just that was the only thing I agree with SoSo Juv. But
What?
not
Only
code
except
switching
one.
so you can have you need authentic. I can't even say it now. Being authentic. Gosh, I must have took that first part of how you couldn't say her name. Now I can't say
Yeah.
authenticity. I used to be
Oh,
able to
you just gonna bring up
authenticity.
the
There it
past, huh?
is. Authenticity. Okay, there we go.
There it is. There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
man.
So
All
that was
right.
number 1.
All right, Adaeze. You heard my 2 co-hosts. Now, let's get to the real list. At number 5, one reason you shouldn't code switch, or my number 5 reason you shouldn't code switch, it's exhausting to constantly have to walk one way to other people, look one way, dress one way. It's tiring. It's exhausting. Tied into that, number 4, it's partly a lie. You're walking around behaving in a way that's not authentic. They said it to you. So it's like, yeah, I could talk like this around this people, or talk like this around some other people. It, it's a lie. It's not who I am. And number three, diversity in culture. What better way to appreciate your diversity in culture or someone else's culture if they don't show it? If they don't show it, dress how you want to dress. Wear what you want to wear. Your hair may be in braids. Your hair may be in dreadlocks. It may be twisted or natural. I want to appreciate your diversity in culture. And number two, when you constantly code switch, it perpetuates the stereotype. It perpetuates the stereotype. So in that sense, when you walk a certain way as a black man in today's society, if I talk and carry myself a certain way, it separates me from other people who may look like me. And then my colleague who may not look like me, they may say, "Oh, you're one of the good guys. Oh, you're one of the good people. Oh, you're not like those some other guys." Well, no, the other guy is my cousin. That's my brother. That's my friend. That's who I am outside of the workplace. So you don't want to perpetuate the stereotype. And number one, it contributes to low self-esteem. Having to constantly try to pretend someone who you're not to appease other people so you're accepted by other people. It's like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with who I am? You start to question that. You start to question your identity, and it can lead to low self-esteem problems. And that is my 5 cents of reasons why you shouldn't code switch.
Nice.
All right. So there it is. There's the list right there. And what you're going to have is you're going to have the task next week to choose who's in third place and who's in first place. So I don't envy you when it comes to this. So until next week, we will see you when we see you. Don't switch it up.